There are a lot of questions that I do have for a good number of people. All right. So, welcome back to the channel. It's Jay from Wolfpack Performance. I am your host, Jay Wolfpack. All of that good stuff, F1 minute, having a good time. But let's have a real conversation because I have heard for several seasons now, especially ever since AD 2021, I think hit a boiling head for many of you. I think many people who have watched the sport even prior to that have weathered or been through several other things that happened in this sport that were completely and utterly disrespectful and are unexcusable. What's going on, Kenny? I see you first in the live chat. DG Big Blue second in the live chat, and Adrian third in the live chat. Big shout out to the top three. And I think we dealt with a lot, and I think a lot of people forget about that. But I think it's a problem that if I hear increasingly every season since 2021, 2022, 2023, now 2024, going into 2025, I think we're worried about the wrong thing. A lot of people are concerned about what the regulations are going to look like in 2026. Many people are concerned about what Lewis Hamilton's career is going to be with Ferrari in 2025. But I think a bigger question as we look at this slideshow that I've put together of things that have happened through the seasons, a bigger concern and a bigger question is, where will we or some of us be in the future of Formula One? I think that's a bigger question to be asked. And I think it's a perfect time to have this conversation as I've pondered and thought about this throughout the break, right? Steadily working. We've had blackface in Spain, right? This is something that many of you have seen. If you haven't seen it, then I think it's something you should definitely look at, right? We've had blackface in Spain. We've had Red Bull create a marketing strategy and campaign with people in blackface, Barack Obama chasing after a banana. Is that not racist? Yes, it is. How much, if anything, happened about that? Not much at all. We've had McLaren, a team that I even worked with on a project where it was involving Black community and pulling inner city kids into STEM programs. Another program that says they support women, bring in somebody who has damn near and for real been indicted on federal charges, who has been known to have a racial background, and welcome him in to the actual paddock just like it was okay. We've seen these things. We saw Aston Martin have a situation where they thought it was okay to refer to somebody as boy or the N-word. We've seen Ben just this season have racial tones about his drivers in the sport of Formula One. We're not rappers and we don't act like them. We've seen a lack of support for women in the sport. We've seen a disregard for Susie Wolf, asking that they provide proof for what these allegations stand on for her to go and about be pointed out and ridiculed the way she was. We saw Nelson Piquet Sr. on a podcast say racial and homophobic slurs in regards to Lewis Hamilton. And this would be a big question to be asked about that. Were they going to do anything had it not come out in the public eye as it did? Were they ever going to ban Nelson Piquet Sr. if this never gets out? And that, my friends, I ask you, is that a sport that you can support? Is that a sport that you feel like you can support? In the face or in the balance of spectacle and sport, can you continue to provide financial revenue, eyeballs, viewership to a sport who has probably showed us by action that they may not really give a damn about fans of color? They may not give a damn about fans of different sexual preferences. They probably don't give a damn about women really being in key positions. But on the other side, do we just say, hey, give up, don't fight the fight, don't protest it, don't try to keep pushing forward, don't try to continue to extend our hand out and say, hey, hello, nice to meet you. Should we not be included? There's a lot of questions to be asked there. And a lot of answers that should be given, because I want to let you all in on something. Many of you are going to leave when Lewis Hamilton leaves, and that's a good lump sum of you. Many of you are going to stay because you feel like the sport should grow. Eventually they'll understand, or maybe you don't care. But I do have a question for other fans that may not come from the same ethnic background, same geographical location. What does it say about you if these things that happen and directly impact people like me, for you to just say, you know what? I don't really care. It doesn't have anything to do with me. What does that say about you? That's like when Trump said black jobs. And then if you say you support Trump and then I ask you, well, do you feel like I should only have black jobs? Because a lot of people don't have an answer for that when you ask them. Because it's either one or two ways. I agree with Trump that your black ass should only have certain jobs, or you don't want to say it because now you realize, damn, I might be a bigot. Is Formula One full of bigots? Because there are a lot of unchecked boxes that they leave unchecked just so they can say we never were on this side or that side. But you know what? We put a couple of programs out there. We've done a couple of things with some black people or people of color. So you can't say that we don't support you. We had a whole thing, race as one. That didn't last long. It didn't last long at all. And another thing is this. What happens when Lewis Hamilton leaves the sport? What happens when Lewis Hamilton leaves the sport? Does what has seemed like accountability also leave with him? Does the sport of Formula One say, you know what? It's about time. We were tired of acting like we really cared about inner city youth, black community, and even trying to collaborate with black content creators, which they don't do much of. They don't do much of. They don't. It was awesome to see Bryson on Sky Sports, an awesome mind in Formula One, within motorsports, an aerodynamic background, engineering background. Why isn't he still collaborating with Sky Sports on Formula One? Because I've seen my counterpart, my white content creators, been giving big opportunities in Formula One on the Formula One platform stage. Collaborations consistently. We've also seen those same content creators drop the ball, drunk on their platform, disrespect drivers, and still be given opportunity. We don't see it on a major scale. So I ask you, when Lewis Hamilton leaves the sport, it is very possible that the sport of Formula One will be more happy than they will be sad. If they're sad, is it only for a financial gain? And I'm telling you, I'm asking these questions. Formula One, any of the pundits, any of the journalists, any of the talking heads, feel free to reach out to me and answer these questions on screen, on a podcast with me. Answer these questions so that the public know. Because not only do we want to see how you answer them, we want to listen to you answer them. I believe most of you are a good judge of character. I believe most of you can watch somebody say something, listen to somebody say something, hear how somebody says something, and I think majority of you are a good judge of if it was genuine or if it wasn't. Because I would hate to believe, but it is likely that Formula One, once Lewis walks out, they feel like we don't have to deal with that crap anymore. You don't got a driver to support. You don't have a driver that looks like you to be a representation of us being diverse on the grid. So guess what? You can leave and we don't give a damn. But if enough of you leave and it impacts our bottom line as far as revenue, then we got to put this shirt on again. We got to pull up these pants so that we can put on a facade and say, wait, we do care. We do care. Let us give you 2 months of showing you we care. where you go ahead and pay for these subscriptions, you buy a few more Formula One tickets in advance, and you know what? Then we can dial it back down, because isn't that what they always do? And it's not even only just Formula One. Isn't that what we typically see big organizations do to save the revenue and bottom line once they realize that a certain group of people may have contributed to their revenue more than they thought, or may have cared a little bit more than they thought, and they start pulling those dollars? Don't they then say, okay, we've done enough, we can go back and revert to our real selves now? They're on board for at least another year or so. I am shocked that not only, even if it were not for the racial side of disgusting things that Trump has done, I'm shocked that Formula One fans, period, didn't say, you know what, isn't that a double standard? Do you think they would allow me, if I was an indicted felon on felony charges, do you think if I had a criminal record that they can look up, do you think they would have allowed me in the paddock? Do you think McLaren would have invited me to their paddock club? So I just got to ask you, why is Trump allowed there? He's got a felony. He's got a criminal record. Matter of fact, so much so Trump embraced being a criminal because he thought it would ingratiate him with other black communities. Isn't that crazy? This is the same guy with that thought process, and y'all allowed him to come in to your paddock. You allowed him to be a prestigious guest. Where's Alex Albon's mom? While she had a non-violent crime, a non-racial hate crime, she's nowhere to be found. She's not allowed on the paddock, but Trump is. Oh, but let me get this right. Max Verstappen's dad is. So there goes the double standard. A woman can have a stained background, pay dues for it, but she's still not allowed on the paddock. How long are we going to deal with these double standards? How long are we going to deal with the discrimination? How long are we going to deal with the racism? It's factually happening. And Lewis Hamilton has been a beacon of hope for a lot of people. And I really understand why. But I'm here to tell you, people that say things like politics don't belong in sports, you are, let me get big when I say this. People that say politics don't belong in sports, you are completely and utterly a damn idiot. You're either an idiot or you think I'm an idiot to think that I'm going to believe that. Because if politics don't belong in sports, then why in the hell does Red Bull have Barack Obama chasing a banana? I'm going to leave that for a second. Matter of fact, I'm going to make it big. If politics don't belong in sports, why did Red Bull choose, as a big company hosting a sporting event, have Barack Obama, in the face that we clearly know is racist, chasing after a banana? That's an organization involving politics in sports. Matter of fact, I tell you what, if politics don't belong in sports, then why is it such a big deal to have Donald Trump in your paddock as a special guest if politics don't belong in sports? So let me tell you something. Either you're a damn idiot or you think I'm an idiot and foolish enough to believe the rhetoric. Let me tell you, when you say something like that, you're just telling me what side of the fence your racist ass is on. You're telling me what side of the fence your discriminating ass is on. You're telling me what side of the fence your bigot ass is on. Politics don't belong in sports. But let me tell you something. If you don't know your history, sporting events are derived from politicians. What do you think the Roman Empire, with so many damn regulations and legal documents come from? Politicians were there. They created that to distract the people from political things that were going on. See, that's what gets me. When people talk shit and they don't really know their history, they kill me with that. They kill me with that because they really don't know. They really don't know. So you have dumb ass people say things like that because they don't know. They're ignorant. And guess what? Trump relies on people just like you. Dummy. Trump relies on dumbass people just like you because you'll believe what they say, but you won't look into the actions in which they do. You're delusional if you don't think, if you want somebody to believe that. And you know what? Some people saying that, oh, I support Hamilton. That's like saying I got a black friend. So that don't mean a damn thing. That means nothing. So you got to watch out for people to say that. You got to watch out for people to talk like that, because let me tell you what they are. They are wolves in sheep clothing. They think they can hide, but they can't hide. DJ Big Blue said politics and sports go hand in hand. Look at World War II. Thank you. What did they do, DJ Big Blue? They created baseball, invited women to play baseball to get sports back up, to try to either console the American public or distract them from what the agenda was. But guess what, DJ Big Blue? You can't tell idiots nothing. You can't tell idiots nothing. You can't tell them nothing. You can't tell them nothing. And guess what? Some people are just so ignorant, it doesn't matter. Sometimes they like that character in Dave Chappelle. You remember that character in Dave Chappelle? Brother been black all his life, didn't know he was black, involved in a KKK, one of the head members, and still realized, once he realized he was black, he hated himself. I don't care if you black. I don't care if you white. All I care about is, do you know, are you defending the truth, and are you standing up for what is right? And if you are not, just because somebody black don't mean they my fellow brother. That just means they look like me, and then it just means it's worse on you that you ignorant enough to believe that crap. That's all it means. That's all it means. We often see people with a lot of money, and people with a lot of money don't mean they damn financially savvy. They still do stupid things with money. But this is what I'm saying, people. You got to be careful out here. You got to be careful out here. So what happens to the sport? What does Lewis Hamilton really represent? How much, think about this, how much change has Lewis Hamilton brought to the sport since he's been in it, and how long he's been fighting for it? Just think about that. How much has really changed in the sport? Or has the sport just temporarily made an aesthetic change to facilitate the financial gains that are attached to Lewis Hamilton? And if so, is that a sport that you continue moving forward with? So I am just saying that I completely understand where many of you come from when you say, when Lewis Hamilton leaves the sport, I'm leaving too. I do understand it. I do completely understand it. Right? I gotta ask you this though. Are you leaving? Mechanic says, sometimes I feel like the internet was worse to happen to society. I can't believe what I'm seeing now. You know what, man? Mechanic brother? Is it worse to be blinded? Because it's almost like a horse, right? A horse has blinders on because they don't want them to see what's to the left and the right. They only want them to focus on what they want them to focus on. Because they're afraid that if they see what's to the left or the right, that they might potentially know they're in danger, and therefore they'll react to that danger and forget about the person that's riding them. Think about that. They'll react to danger, and reacting to that will then jeopardize the person riding their back. That's crazy. But at the same time, it's not about seeing it. It's about knowing it's there, and then it makes you a different person because now you have to understand the real dangers that lie around you. That's just real. That's just real. Right? And trust this. As I always say this, you are going to have, once you're hated, let me tell you this, once you're hated, you know you're doing something. When people live their life to try to bring you down, you know you're doing something. You know you're doing something. You know, because what do I always tell you? Because it's a fact. Because some of these people didn't go to college. Some of these people didn't graduate. Some of these people never took Crit 101. Some of these people never took psychology. But it is a psychological fact for a person to hate you or a person to do things to bring you down. They first have to admire something about you. It's a psychological fact. They first have to admire or want to have something that you have, but they don't know how to do it. They don't know how another way to make it happen, or they don't have the qualities themselves. So then it converts into hate, and then it converts into negative impact. But guess what? They too small. They too small. I guarantee you, you go look at something else that's hating on something bigger, they not as big. But I guarantee you what? They're going to be right here in my seat all the time when I go live. I guarantee you they're going to be right here front and center every time when I go live. Because you really love it. You don't know what to do. You likely don't do anything yourself. So maybe it's not right to criticize Lewis Hamilton for everything he's done and maybe the little progress that's happened. Big shout out to Galacticus. Big shout out to Dave Quattro. Big shout out to Mechanic. Big shout out to Marciano. Big shout out to DG Big Blue, Dave Quattro, Rambro 88, Oscar, Reezy. Big shout out to Kenny. Trust me, man. Trust me. Bro, there's going to be plenty of things happening. Don't forget also, we're going to look to have that race tomorrow. I do have a meeting to look to have the race tomorrow. We also, we got Coda coming up. We got Texas coming up. So we're going to be big time on that. But in the X-Trax 38, big shout out to you. But in the meantime, I just, got to ask people, can they explain any of that? Matter of fact, check this out, people. Y'all remember this? Bow! Politics don't belong in sports. Look at what some of these people have done. Look at what some of these people have done. Literally made an image with Lewis Hamilton in replace of George Floyd and the cop who murdered him as Alonzo. Those same people that are going to be in the comment section do things like that. Do things like that. Matter of fact, how about this one? Bow, name an N-word, but they say racist. The sport ain't racist. I'm not racist. And look, that's a Max Verstappen fan. That's a Max Verstappen fan that made that post. Name an N-word. Guess what? Can't even justify that. And if they tried to justify it, you know exactly where they are. Mechanic says Mike Robertson, a black man, said crazy things online and his campaign is over. Another, he said worse, and he's a presidential candidate. Unbelievable. Man, and you know what, brother? Hey, that's also real crazy, isn't it? That's real crazy, ain't it? Think about some of the things that politicians can say and still be active. Hey, big shout out Dave Quattro. Big shout out Galacticus. Man, I'm telling you, brother. But, I just want to know, are they going to ignore the treatment? Are they going to ignore the consideration? Or are they going to step out in front of it and say, you know what, something really has to change? Because if there are a big group of people saying that they are no longer going to, think about it, remember this, the season not even over. It wasn't even halfway. And they reported 650,000 regress viewership. That there was a drop-off of 650,000 people watching Formula One. So does the sport say to themselves that there's a problem if, regardless of color, this driver is on his backside of his career, and we have millions of fans talking about they will no longer watch our sport once he's not competing in it? That's a problem. That should tell you, Formula One, that you have not conducted yourself in a way that would enable a mass of spectators and people that have financially supported you to trust you outside of one driver. That's a problem. That's a problem. And that's a you problem. Because that means you haven't done enough outside of that driver for people to feel like this is a good place to be, even if Lewis Hamilton's not in it. This is a positive place to be, even if Lewis Hamilton is not in it. That's what that says. That's what that says all day long. That's exactly what that says. And guess what? Sometimes when you make moves as a boss, people don't realize you can silence them, right? You can silence them just like that. Boom, silenced. Silenced just like that. And guess what? Even though they silence, they gonna keep watching the channel because they can't help themselves. They attract. Watch this, just like that. Boom, silence. They can't help it. See, because they don't realize. They don't realize yet. They think that they have some type of power, but they don't realize how easy it is. All it is this, people. It's just that. It's just that. That's all it is. And then guess what they'll do? Let me show you how much they care about being here. Let me tell you all how much they care about being here. Some people that come here with so much hate or so much of the racism, discrimination, and trying to bring this channel down, they care so much to be here that they have created multiple accounts just to be in the live stream. Do you know that the live stream is only for subscribers? Think about that. The live stream is set to subscribers only. They have to be subscribed to the channel to be in the live chat. Prove me facts. Psychological fact. In order for you to hate something, you have to first admire it or love something about it that you yourself can't do, or you are insufficient a being, and therefore you hate the person because you are lesser than. Yeah, I went to college too. Just saying. If you went to college, you should know these things. And then it makes it even worse that you could know the rules of engagement but not abide by them. That's what's crazy to me. That's what's crazy to me. So, I'm not saying make it make sense, bro. Hey, I'm trying to tell you. Sometimes you can't make sense out. You can't make sense for people that can't count. Sometimes you can't make sense for people that can't count. And sometimes you just got to understand that people are so ignorant and love being delusional. And sometimes they just unhappy with what they do. Sometimes you got to understand that. And I would like to say that, yes, I understand when people say, yo, I just want to watch Formula One and not be worried about politics. I understand why you say that. But you need to understand that's not a reality. Politics are involved all through sports. Politics are literally involved in Formula One all the time. All the time. And I understand that you see so much outside and so much confrontation, so much separation that you're just hoping that, can I just watch this and not have to be worried about that? No. No, you can't. You can't. I understand why you do, but you can't. You can choose to ignore it. It's not helping. But also, I would like to say this. And I'm gonna say this, and this is not anything negative for all of you. It's only me taking a shot at the people that think they are better than, right? It's oddly funny. This flag right here, you see this flag right here? It's oddly funny. People that live in the United States of America that think they can tell me why they are better, why they should not have to do it, and consider themselves so patriotic, consider themselves with the ability to think that they can march on the Capitol and basically create a Civil War act, have never served this country with this flag on their shoulders or anywhere on their uniform. Ain't that funny? So you mean to tell me you never took the most prestigious place or stand that American citizen or any citizens in any country can take, but you think you can come here and tell me what to do and what not to do, and what's racist, what's not racist, what's discriminating, what I'm not entitled to? Yo, some of these people ain't never wore the uniform as a United States soldier. I say what the hell I want to say, and so can you. The only difference is I actually did something for this country that you probably live in. And if you did too, salute to you. Big shout out to my fellow veterans. Big shout out to my sisters and my brothers that are still serving in the military. Big shout out to y'all. Big shout out Racer X210 stepping in. But listen, I just want to say, hey, I understand. But when these things take place in this sport, they can't be ignored, especially if the sport itself does not address it correctly. And smoothing it over, trying to allow it to hopefully disappear, trying to hopefully think that we're going to forget about it is not a solution. It's not a long-term solution. Mechanic Mercedes says, thank you, famo, for your service. Proud of Mary. Hey, bro, thank you very much for the consideration and the appreciation. It's not a long-term solution. Bo, by the way, we're going to have, when we come back from COTA, all the super chats. I'm going to say this because I need to say it. All the super chats that have been issued since the last giveaway to COTA are going to go into a wheel, and somebody's going to win this PSA Mint 10. All right, Jim Mint 10 Lewis Hamilton card right here. All right, so we will be having that giveaway during the COTA race weekend. Okay, so don't forget about that. But yeah, so it's not a long-term solution. Formula One need to be more proactive in trying to make sure all fans are included. All content creators that at least have an established platform have been putting in work. Is there something we can do with you to bring in more spectators into the sport? When you go fishing, you can choose to fish with one fishing pole, one type of bait, but I'll tell you what, unless you know you're in a honey hole, you're limiting your opportunity to get more catches. When I go fishing, I'm going to have a straight line. I'm going to have a bobber, 15 feet, and I might be fishing with an artificial bait. You want to know why? Because I need to see what's going to work best. That's what Formula One needs to do. We need to know what's going to work best for us all. We don't want to exclude anybody in the sport. Then put a damn race in Africa. Why is Kyalami not on the circuit, on the itinerary yet? As soon as it gets on, they try to find a reason to discredit Kyalami, Africa, by saying, oh, they dealing with Russians. What the hell do you care? You had a race in so go for the longest. You had a race in Russia for the longest. Russia been doing things that weren't upstanding and right. You got a race over in you got a race in Dubai. You got a race in Saudi. Has that country not been involved in some of the most heinous things? Don't try to act like self-righteousness is the reason why you don't have a race in Africa because they were supposedly dealing with Russians. Come on, man. Haas was dealing with Russians, and you still got them in Formula One. These are the double standard things that I'm talking about that Formula One literally does and think that it's okay. There are many, many spectators and fans of the sport in Africa. Why is there not a race there? Why? Just saying. But it's cool to pull out the diamonds. It's cool to pull out the gold. It's cool to go there, get the cheapest labor and charge the most highest prices on damn goods. That's okay. But it's not cool to give due credit. It's not cool to include. It's not cool to treat. Come on, man. That's what I'm saying. Mechanic says, one major thing I've learned is that a lot of people don't have an Hey, Mechanic, that's true, bro. I did say that. I said that earlier. I said something like that. Me and my bro be on the same wavelength. That's very true, bro. Some people don't have an honest character or integrity. What's up, Edge? Appreciate first time right here. Celebrate their first super chat on the live stream. You got in just in time to get your name thrown in the hat for this card. Big shout out to you. So I'm not doing it. And you know what? I'm going to say this. If me being me and calling out the things I call out, keeping it real or sharing my perspective as the person I am, is the reason why they say, we don't know if we can trust that guy. We don't know if we can bring him in. Because sometimes people don't want the truth within their organization because you know what? It's a hassle for them. Name me one guest. Name me one guest I've had on my show, from Emma to Bryson to Willie T. Ribbs. Name me one guest where y'all seen that, you know what? He disrespected that guest all up and down. I mean, he put them in some controversial questions where they might have to be concerned about if they go back to their job. It ain't never happened. Go watch any of my interviews. It's never happened. Go back to the work I did with McClain. It never happens. Why? Because I respect people. Yeah, I can ask you tough questions, but I can ask them in a way that would allow you to go back to your place of employment and not be in a situation unless they're so crooked that they don't even care. So don't try to tell me that Wolfpack doesn't know how to conduct himself on a corporate level. And Wolfpack just don't like being fake. And yeah, I can keep it real with you without putting you in a predicament. But guess what? That's not the reason. That's not the reason. It's not the real reason. The real reason is Wolfpack is gonna move that mascara and that makeup. I'm gonna wipe away that. Then I'm gonna take that wig off. Then I'm gonna take that Beijing off, and I'm gonna say, "Oh, that's the real you." Yo, let's talk about that. Let's talk about some of these things. Let's talk about that. People don't want to have those real conversations because you know why? It exposes who they are. Might indeed expose the things that they choose to ignore, and then why they choose to ignore them. And now they've outed themselves legitimately. So it's I really, and I do want to say this for all of you that either whether you disagree with some of my perspective, because me and Mechanic Mercedes, we disagree on plenty of topics sometimes, but we disagree respectfully and have a conversation. And I just want to say this. I'm not looking for you to agree with me. I'm not looking for you to share my exact same opinion, perspective, or mindset. I am asking and looking for you to have healthy conversation where, you know what, maybe I can take something away from and be like, you know what, you got a point. Maybe I should kind of reclock the way I think about that. Because guess what? Healthy conversation, debate, and different perspectives coming together, if healthily and respectfully done, will breed more positive environments for people to feel like they can express themselves in if they are real people. But I'm trying to tell you something. You put a freshwater fish in salt water, they're not going to survive long. I want brackish water. And if you know what brackish water is, you know what I mean. But you know, some people they're so damn, hey, big shout out Baraka. Some people that's so educated might not know what brackish water. I'm just saying I don't know everything, but it's crazy how some people gonna come here and say Wolfpack ain't educated. That's crazy, ain't it? It's crazy how people will come here and say, oh, he ain't educated. Everybody make mistakes. Hell, you don't know every word in the dictionary, every formula in mathematics. You don't know all types of philosophy inputs and damn freight. You don't know all that. Everybody don't know everything. But guess what? Don't ever come here and think that I'm not educated and that you, but you know what's funny? How many times have I invited these cheap ass, punk ass people in the live stream and they never come on to F1 Minute to really show their face or have a debate? Think about that. You can go back in this live stream chat and look at all the BS that people were saying, right? They never came on F1 Minute live and did none of that. You want to know why that is? Because the people that carry those characteristics are the same people that wore those white sheets on their head trying to protect and conceal who they were because they didn't want you to know who was doing the shameful bullshit that they was doing. That's the same mentality those people got. The same people that want to try to say sports politics don't belong in sports and you using the race card, they never come on F1 Minute and say it verbally in their face. No, because those people are cowards. They are cowards. And that's the problem. We got too many cowards running around here, stirring up and doing disrespectful things. But you know what? Cowards don't like to come from behind that. They don't like to come from behind that shield. They don't like to come from behind that wall. They don't like to do that. The whole time, let me tell y'all something. The whole time I was in COTA, there wasn't one day where somebody didn't walk up to me and say, yo, that's Wolfpack. You want to know why? Because a lot of people going to know me before I know them. But guess what? I didn't have one person walk up to me and say, I can't stand your channel. I didn't have one person walk up to me and say, I don't agree with none of the shit you say on your channel. Racism, not one person. But I had people come up and show me love. You want to know why? Because them people ain't got the heart to confront me in person. Because they really not about that. They quartery keyboard warriors. QWR, Quebec Whiskey Echo Romeo Tango. Yankee. Quartery Keyboard Warriors. Where you was at? I was out there in public. You know me before I know you. I don't know your face. I know your profile name. I know some of my family members' faces. Why you didn't come say nothing to me? Because I know y'all seen me. And I could tell some of y'all, because I think it was one dude I asked, get ready to ask a question. I could tell by his face, but guess what? He didn't never say what he really felt. They punks, y'all. They punks. The only way they got strength is to come in here with their profile name, create a bunch of different profile names, and then keep on rambling and doing what they do. Then you got people that just make a lot of content about me because that's the only thing they focus on, because that's the only thing they got. But you know what? Maria Duncan told me some real good advice. She said, Jay, don't pay them and don't feed into them. At least not that way. My family keeps it real with me. Wolfpack family, Wolfpack supporters, Wolfpack subscribers, real people that have legitimate character and integrity and really care for people just being people. I send a big shout out to y'all. And this is why I'm making this live, because I want the sport to realize you are going to lose genuine Formula One fans that really do care about the sport. You're going to lose that Formula One. And if you don't care about losing that, then all is lost anyway. All is lost anyway. You got good people out here that will support you if you do the right thing. You got good people out here that will promote you if you do the right thing. You got good people out here that will spend thousands of dollars to be involved in your events if you do the right thing. But eventually you're going to lose that. And I'm not saying that you're going to care unless it's going to impact you so big revenue-wise. But even if that's where it takes for you to care, that's a damn shame. But maybe it gives them some type of leverage. I'm going to be here next season. I'm going to be here because I want to see what you're going to do when Lewis Hamilton leaves. I want to see, listen, I already have the driver that I'm going to support going forward when Lewis Hamilton leaves. Oscar Piastri. I'm going to support Williams. I'm going to support Alex Albon. I'm looking to support Charles Leclerc. Hopefully he can improve. I'm about the sport. Yeah, I understand Lewis Hamilton's black. I understand Lewis Hamilton looks like me, but Lewis Hamilton's not the only thing and the only reason I watch Formula One. But a lot of people would assume that. Why? I don't know. Let them tell you. Let them tell you why. Let them tell you why. Just saying. Just saying. So there needs to be a bigger, stiffer penalty for things like this that occur in the sport. There needs to be more proactiveness done on behalf of the sport for you, the spectators at home. And I'm not talking about just spectators that look like me. I'm talking about for all of us that legitimately like the sport of Formula One and don't mind talking and celebrating together. All them other clowns and buffoons, F them. F them. But all colors, creed, deeds, ethnicities, cultural, nationality, backgrounds, I'm calling for you to remain together and support each other and stay positive. And don't let the buffoonery separate you all. And don't let Formula One get off light. We got to hold Formula One accountable, okay? Because some of the things they're doing are just not up to standard, are just not up to integrity, character. That is just not up to it, okay? And that's just the truth when things like that happen. Just saying. So big shout out to you all. We will be looking to have a race tomorrow. There are some important things I have to do, so I might have to schedule a little bit later, a little bit earlier. I need to find out some logistics today, but we do have a Formula One F1 grudge race that will happen, looking to happen tomorrow. If you want to be there when I post the live stream, be in the live chat 15 to 20 minutes prior to the race time, or be in the Discord in the racers meeting room 20 to 15 minutes before time so we can get everything going on. So I really do appreciate y'all. Y'all rock. Big shout out to all the fam. Big shout out to everybody supporting that. We will see y'all later. Wolfpack out. Peace.